Hey Sexy Crew, welcome back to Lakeisha's Sexy 40 Plus channel. Thanks for clicking on my channel. As always, it's much appreciated. Yes, y'all see that title down below. Your girl is bringing back part 3 of Tell All. I hope y'all enjoying this series, Tell All. This is me just basically trying to let my sexy crew know a little more about Lakeisha Sexy 40 Plus here on YouTube. So with that being said, we're gonna get right into part 3 of this series. I ended part 2 by letting my sexy crew know about me moving out and living on my own at 18, and I was about to get on to the part of life that made me the woman that I am today, that helped make me the woman that I am today. But before I say that, I have to say that your girl is a God-fearing woman. I did grow up in church. I grew up in a Christian church. I believe I got baptized. I was around 12, 13 years old. Somewhere around then, I got baptized at my Aunt Linda's church. May she continue to rest in peace. She is also someone else that I lost. Moving forward, at 20 years old, after I finished having fun, I got it out. Oh, I'm on my own at 18. That fun, I started dating, and I met my children's father. I was 19 years old. Like I said in part 2, I think this is part 3 is gonna be the toughest for me to speak about. I experienced so much in my earlier part of my 20s that I probably didn't have to experience. I kind of bought everything on myself. Like, let's say that. I bought everything out on myself first for one to leave at 17, almost 18 years old, want to be grown. Like, I bought everything on myself. I still was working at Food Emporium. I worked at Food Emporium for about 3 years. I believe 18, 19, and I believe 20 is when I stopped working at Food Emporium because I got pregnant with my first son. So me dating his dad at 19, all I seen was a tall, dark, handsome man. He knew how to dress, he smelled good. He was about his business, like he was about that money. That's all I seen. He did have a child already. I believe the child was like 2. I believe his son was 2 when him and I first started dating. Little did I know, he still was sleeping around with his son's mother. I was infatuated. I wasn't in love. I know what love is now. So I can't say that I was in love because I wasn't. I was in love with the idea of this handsome, tall man. Like, I was in love with the idea. I was in love with the stories that he was telling me Y'all already know men got gift for gab. Like, I was in love with the ideas. I married him. We had a Muslim wedding, and I know I just said that I grew up in a Christian. Well, I didn't grow up. Let me correct myself, because I didn't grow up in a Christian home, because my mom really didn't have a religion. She wasn't Christian. She didn't have a religion. So as I now, today, I do not have a religion. I don't say that I'm a Christian, I'm Baptist, I'm Jehovah, I'm Five Sinner, I'm Muslim. I don't put a title on it. I do know that there is an Almighty. I do know that there is a stronger power than you and I, than men. I do know that. But I do not have a title. When I say my prayers, I pray to the Almighty. So going back, I get with my children's father, my two oldest boys, because I have 3 boys, and we don't call him B, since I have 2 baby fathers. We don't call him B. I met B at 19. B was 5 years older than me. I believe B was like 5 years older than me. He had a car. He had a nice car. He always had cars. I was infatuated with the idea, like I said. We dated. He bought me things. He showed me around the world. I'm gonna cut that out. He showed me about traveling. He used to go back and forth down south a lot, and I used to go back and forth with him, and I love to travel. Like, I love to be on the road. Like I said, infatuated with the idea. I will say that he was a great provider. Like, he is a country guy. And if you know anything about them southern men, like, they take care of their family. You know, they make sure their bills are paid. They take care of their family in that aspect. But they are also, and not all, please don't come at me, not all, but some are homemongers. They are whores. A lot of them. They like the truckers. If you're married to a trucker, I'm not saying your man, but your husband is a whore, but most of them are. Yeah, I was infatuated with the idea. I wound up pregnant at 20. And if I'm being honest, and if I'm being real, and this is relatable content, I was pregnant before then. Didn't have that child. I wound up pregnant with my first son, and all hell broke loose. I did not enjoy none of my pregnancies. I did not enjoy none of my pregnancies. And that's crazy, right? That's sad. That's sad. But I didn't enjoy any of my pregnancies. And I'm gonna move forward later about my youngest boy, because I could have enjoyed that pregnancy, but we'll get there. I didn't enjoy my pregnancy with my first child because I was being mentally and that was my second son. I was being mentally abused. I was being mentally abused. I was being cheated on. And I still just wanted this family. Like, I'm pregnant. I already didn't have the first child. So now I wound up pregnant again. My older self be looking at certain things, and I'm sitting here as I'm telling the story, I'm like, dreadful. I'm living a life that I thought for a minute, I'm glad it was just for a minute, Sexy Crew. I thought for a minute, this is life. Like, men is not gonna be faithful. Men, I have this clip in my hair, Sexy Crew. I'm like, men are not gonna be faithful. Like, you gotta take the bad with the good, basically. Like, he's a provider. I'm trying to think of other qualities. He look good. This is what I'm saying to myself, my 19-year-old self, because I got pregnant at 19, but I had my first son at 20. And I had my son, I was in labor on my birthday, y'all. And I couldn't enjoy my pregnancy because he was just being, I hate the statement being a man, because I don't feel like all men is like that. So I don't like the statement being a man, but he was being a whore. Like, I don't know how else to say it. He was being a whore. And I was still trying to hang in there, and I was still trying to be the good girlfriend, because I was still the girlfriend at the time. I wasn't his wife. And then he asked me to marry him, and me just trying to, in my eyes, do the right thing. You're having a baby with this person. Like, it's gonna work out. He says, let's move to Virginia. And in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that'll probably be better. He probably won't be running around here cheating on me. Y'all, when I say, let me tell y'all a story, because I gotta tell y'all some juicy shit too, right? Let me tell y'all true shit, real facts over here. I'm pregnant with my first son, and I find out he's cheating on me. I find out who he's cheating on me with. She lives in the same neighborhood as I feel real disrespected. I'm 8 months pregnant, and I knew he was a homemonger. I knew he was a whore already. I'm not gonna lie. I'm talking about the time that I found out who he was cheating with. I already knew I was being cheated on. I just didn't know who he was cheating with. I find out at 8 months who he's cheating with. And I'm devastated. My heart is broken. I'm pregnant, so my emotions is like through the roof already. My girlfriend who told me about him, who he was cheating with, she was like, I didn't want to tell you. But I kind of, like, when I think about that story, I be like, why you tell me now at 8 months though? I kind of always wondered, like, why you told me at 8 months? Why you didn't wait till I had the baby if, you didn't want to tell me? I always kind of wondered that. But she didn't, I'm upset. Of course, I'm crying. Y'all already know the vibes. I'm upset. I'm crying. I'm ready to go to the girl's house. My girlfriend is like, no, you pregnant. Blah, blah, blah. So she choked with me for hours after that. And, of course, calmed me down. So she felt that I was in a better space to leave, for her to go home. Your girl was out that door as soon as she left my house. I was out the door going to the house, going to the girl house. And I know he's there because I think at that time I didn't talk to him all day. Like, it was something going on that I knew he was there. And I go to the girl house, knock on her door. I cover we have peacoats, and I cover the peacoat with my hand. And guess who snatches open the door? Yeah, it was B. He opens the door, and as quick as he snatched the door open, that's as quick as my nigga snatched that shit back. Oh my gosh, it's funny now, telling the story, which I already know I was devastated. But yeah, as quick as he snatched the door open, he slammed that door so fast when he see my face. I tried to like stop it, and I couldn't even stop him. That's how fast he slammed that door back. So I'm acting like a crazy pregnant woman, banging on the door, come the fuck out, nigga. Saying all the words y'all know we can say. I'm saying all the words. He don't come out. In my head, I did that probably for about 10 minutes. I'm like, you won't come out sooner or later. I went up to the chick lived on the second floor. So I went up to the third floor. Act like I went downstairs, act like I went out the building. I did all that. And then I went to the third floor because I'm waiting for them to come out. I'm waiting for them to come out. What I don't like is disrespect. I don't like disrespect. I don't like disrespect at all. So, yeah, your girl was furious. Furious. And that was something that I went through. Did I ever see the chick? Yeah, I seen the chick. I had words for the chick. The chick was scared to death. I didn't see her that day though. I didn't see her that day. I seen her a while after that. But she was intimidated. She was scared of me. Yeah. He called himself, stop messing with her. He like, we gonna move to Virginia. We have a better life there. We're gonna get a townhome. You know, I was infatuated with all the ideas. We did just that. I packed up my apartment. But your girl didn't totally leave her apartment. I hope y'all listening when y'all talking to y'all. Listen. Moved down to Virginia. Still paying my rent here in New York City. Still paying my rent here in New York City. Moved to Virginia. Oh, before we moved to Virginia, he asked, I want to get married. Didn't get on the need. I didn't get that when I first got married. The whole need thing, the whole plan and the proposal, I didn't get none of that. We just talked about getting married, and he say, he want me to be his wife type thing. He wanted to have a Muslim wedding because he's Muslim. So, your girl had the Muslim wedding. My family came, a couple of my friends came. Shortly after that, and his family, some of his family, because a lot of his family lived in Virginia, but some of his family drove up from Virginia. They came. Shortly after that, we packed up. I packed my whole apartment up. We moved to Virginia. Lovely, lovely, lovely townhome. Lived in a pretty townhome. That's one thing, like I said, I stated about him. I don't want to, like, make this video, but I have stated, like, this is one of the hardest. Part 3 is definitely one of the hardest conversations to have with my sexy crew. But, yeah. We lived in a pretty townhome. Like I said, that was one thing. He was a great provider. I didn't have to pay no bills. I kept all my money to myself. I liked living in Virginia. I wasn't a driver at that time, but I became a driver very soon. Like, that taught me a lot. Like I stated in part 2, he taught me a lot. Like, that time of my life taught me a lot. And with that being said, I love Virginia, but I didn't have any family there. I couldn't drive. He was being a whore. Yeah, difficult part of my life at that time. But again, me trying to be a good mother, be a good wife at a young age. That's why you can't tell people what to do, but I tell my youngins that's here watching me, take your time, live your life. Like, 18, 19, 20, you are still figuring out yourself. You are still figuring out what you like in life. You are figuring out what you want out of life. So take your time. That is not a great time to have children, to get married, in my opinion. Don't forget, these are my opinion. Do what you want. Like I did what I want. But at the same time, YouTube is here. I'm here on YouTube to try to help maybe prevent a mistake you might possibly make. But by watching me, you like, nah, I'm not going down that path. I'm not doing that. So that's one of the things that I really want to get out of this series. That's definitely something I'm trying to implement here on YouTube. Like, to my youngins, like, take your time. It's also very important to really know who you're about to marry, whom you're about to have children with. Like, that is so important. Family history, family health. Like, that is truly important before you just lay down and have a baby with somebody. So, if you don't take anything out of this series, if you don't take anything out of this series, please, to my youngins, take that. Know who you laying down with. Know who you about to marry. Don't just jump into anything. Because I really jumped into that quick. 19, dating, married at 20, having a baby at 20. That's moving too fast. I didn't know family history. I didn't know family health. And not knowing that has brought trouble to this part of my life today. So I'm not no way in fashion, no way am I trying to say that me moving out on my own at 18, that me getting married and having a baby at 20, it's not even anything to brag about. I brag about I made it. I brag about that I'm still here after making such horrible mistakes. And I'm not saying, I have to say, like, my children are not a mistake. Things happen for reasons. I love my children. I love them. I love them dearly. But should I have waited before I had children? Yes. Yes. I should have definitely have waited. Y'all didn't even hear me say I went back to school yet, because I didn't go back to school yet. I was becoming a mother. I was becoming a wife. I had so much on my plate. I wasn't thinking about school. So with that being said, I had my first son. I love my boy. He was born the day after me. And my interview, if you're wondering, and if you are new here, my birthday is January 13th. My birthday is coming up. Shout out to all the Capricorns out there. Oh, for record, the female and male Capricorns are a little different. A little different. Because they whores. But Capricorns could be big flirts. And I'm gonna admit, I could be a big flirt. I am tooken. But if I wasn't, I could be a big flirt as well. We just being real here in this series, just real shit. 21. Mind you, I'm living in Virginia. I always had ownership, entrepreneurship. I always had the mentality. I always wanted to own some kind of franchise or organization, something. Like I did Avon. I had a boutique called Chocolate Boutique. Yeah. But with that being said, I always did something, sold something, like, and I mean, we're not talking about bad things. I mean, like, selling hair, selling clothes. I used to sell jewelry, like, things to that nature. Living in Virginia was hell. Like I said, one of the worst parts of my life is when I moved to Virginia. And I met a good person that we're still friends today. Shout out to Kelly. Kelly and her mama actually saved me and came and got me and took me out that situation. Moving forward, I got pregnant with my second son. My oldest and my second son are 2 years apart. So by 21, I was pregnant again. And I tell my sister crew no lies. And I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this here, because I don't want my son to feel like I didn't want him. I didn't know you, son. Like, I didn't know you. I'm glad you're here to this day. Today, I'm glad you're here. I thank God you're here. Things happen for reasons. But I got pregnant with my second son, and I started to have an abortion. And I was living miserably. Like, I was being cheated on. I was stagnated. Didn't know nobody but him and his family. And I met my friend Kelly. Like I just said, I met her because I used to get my hair done every 2 weeks, and she's a hairstylist, and that's how her and I became close. But one day, I'm pregnant with my second son. I have my 1.5-year-old running around, which is my oldest son, and girls just kept calling my house. And one day, he answered the phone and I answered the phone at the same time. He answered in the kitchen and I was in the bedroom. But he didn't know I answered. And it was a young lady basically asking him when he's coming over. And he like, don't be calling my fucking phone. I told you don't call my phone. And hangs up on the girl. Those are the things that I experienced being in his first marriage. I experienced him still sleeping with his first baby mama. I remember one time I came back to New York City to see my mom, to see my family. And while I was in New York City, the baby mama was in my crib, in my home in Virginia. The baby mama was living in my home while I was visiting my family. Sleeping in my bed, taking showers in my shower, going through my clothes, my belongings. She even sliced up my shearling. I came home and I'm leaving details out, but I came home and my sister-in-law at the time, basically, we used to have her son all the time. And shout out to him. He's somebody that I love too. Nephew. I'm not gonna say no names, but nephew. I call him nephew. To this day, I still call him nephew. He a grown-ass man. Handsome, big, grown-ass man. I used to have her son all the time because my son, you know, and they was cousins. They used to always play all the time. So I had just came home from New York. I probably was home for one day. And she came over with the son, and my son and her son was playing. And she like, girl, she's like, I know you pregnant. I don't want to give you all this tea. But that chick was in your house while you was in New York. Oh, she came through. She brought the, you know, I'm thinking maybe she just came through and brought the son over so he could see his dad. That's still a violation because you're not supposed to have nobody in my home while I'm not here. No female in my home while I'm not here. Pick your son up outside. But this is what I'm thinking. She's like, no, girl. The whole week and a half you was in New York, she was sleeping in your bed. She was living in your house. At this time, I haven't seen my shearling. Because in Virginia, it don't get as cold as it get in New York City. So I didn't really have to wear the coat. So I didn't find all this out until months later about my belongings. But the sister has to tell me that she's been staying in my house while I was in New York. And yeah, there ain't even much to say to that. Your girl was devastated. I was devastated. I wanted to fight. I wanted to hurt somebody. And in the midst of me having all these emotions, guess who comes to my house? Remember, I only been home for a day. So she's still in Virginia. Because she didn't live in Virginia, she lived in New York City. So to me, they probably playing this. Oh, she goes to New York this time, you come here this time. I don't know, girl. But guess who comes to my house? Wow, the sister is telling me what transpired for the week and a half that I wasn't here. That I wasn't in my home. And I'm like 7 months pregnant with my second son at this time. And I'm getting this information. And guess who walked in my house? With the other sister. Because he has a big family. He has sisters and brothers. But one sister I'm sitting with, and she's telling me what's been transpiring for the week and a half that I've been in New York. And guess who come through the door with the other sister? B, the baby daddy, and the baby mama comes through my door. Wow, I'm just getting all this information. Yeah, your girl lost it. Yeah. Yeah, I lost it. Everything next to me was being thrown their way. I had a fish tank next to me. I had a phone next to me. Everything next to me was being thrown their way. When I say they hurried up and got the fuck out of that house, they're like, oh, she's crazy right now. And they don't even know what was really going on, because I'm not stating what's going on at this time, but I'm just in a rage, Sexy Crew. I'm in an extreme rage. I have my 1.5-year-old there. His little cousin, I'm pregnant. I'm not supposed to be in this rage. I'm not supposed to be acting this way at this time. But I couldn't help it. Like, this is the bad time to come. Why you have to come now? Like, when I have time to process and have a moment, just a moment. I don't need a long moment, but just a moment to think, I'm all right. You know, I have self-control. I'll be okay. But I have a moment to think. Sexy Crew. So your girl acted out. Oh, did I act out? And 2 weeks later, I was out of there. And what distraught me so much about that situation is he just thought everything was just all sweet. He's a Sagittarius. Hamo, my fiance, is also a Sagittarius. I see similarities, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know if Hamo was just smart and he just appreciate what he have and he knows, because we are at a certain age now where we can know and appreciate, you know, when we have somebody good in our life. We was a lot much younger then. So the immaturity is just, with the baby daddy, I think is more than immaturity. I think it was like some mental health issues too. But like I said, be careful who you lay down with and have babies with. Yeah, that was a whole day, y'all. That was a whole day. And 2 weeks later, my girlfriend Kelly, the one I met being my hairstylist, because it was gonna take my mom and my uncle and my stepdad a while to get to me and my son, because when I was leaving, I'm leaving. So I'm trying to bring everything home with me, everything that I can, because I'm not coming back. It's a wrap. I did this for 3 years. Like, it's a wrap. That's how I felt, you know? So in the midst of my family coming to get me from New York to Virginia, I had to basically pack up all my stuff. Mind you, I got this big old stomach because I'm like 7 months pregnant, and I had to pack up all my stuff. So in the midst of that, I remember him coming into the house after work here, come home, and he seen me packing my stuff up, and he seen I didn't accumulate all these big black bags, because I'm just throwing everything in big black bags. So when my family get here, we can take these black bags, put it in the truck, and go. He's on his narcissistic shit. He's acting mad, like, you're not going nowhere. He stated that, like, you're not going nowhere. Until he seen my girlfriend and her mother, because I couldn't live there. I couldn't wait for my family to get there. I couldn't stay there and wait for my family to get there. That would have been too much on my mental. So my girlfriend Kelly, she like, you can come stay with me until your family get here. And I'm like, for real? I don't want to impose, you know, I got my baby. And she's like, you can come stay with me Like, you don't gotta go through that. Because I'm trying to make a story short, but it was just so much in between that time and me saying that I'm leaving him until I actually left out my house. Like, I just, as a pregnant woman, I just was going through too much. So I went, my girlfriend Kelly and her mom, shout out to Miss Ruby, yeah, they came and took all my bags. And I said, when I say I had so much stuff, Sexy Crew. I left so many different things in Virginia, but I left it with my girlfriend. He didn't get it. I left it with my girlfriend because everything I packed up, my girlfriend and her mother, we transported it from an apartment to my girlfriend's mother's truck, Miss Ruby. She had like a pickup truck, and we put everything in the truck. And we took it over to my girlfriend Kelly's house, and she had like a shed in her basement, and basically we packed everything of mine up in that shed and waited for my family to come. My family didn't get there until a week later at this time when I moved to Kelly's house for a little while. But I remember, this place stands out to me to this day. I remember him talking all this shit when he seen all the black bags being piled up and he's saying, you're not going nowhere. He came home from work and he seen Kelly and her mom there helping me, removing all the bags and putting it in the pickup truck. And he came to me, like, grabbed my hand, and we were standing in the kitchen. I remember vividly. We were standing in the kitchen, and he got down on his knees, and he held my belly, because like I said, I was pregnant. I was 7 months pregnant, my second son. And he held my belly, and he like, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. And this is actually the first time I ever seen this man cry. And the last time I ever seen this, was it the last time? I believe it was the last time I ever seen that man cry. He got on his knees and, please don't leave me, please. I don't want my family to leave me. And I looked down at him, and I remember thinking, like, why didn't you act like this a week ago? He didn't act like that a week ago. That was great, you know? Like, I'm glad he did. But, because I would have broke. I most likely would have broke because I'm trying to keep my family together. I'm young. I have a son. I have another son on the way. I'm trying to keep my family together. I don't want to I grew up in the biggest projects in the world. It's stereotyped to have 3 and 4 and 5 different baby daddies. I didn't want to be one of them stereotypes. I didn't want to be the black girl that got 3 baby daddies, come from the projects, and I didn't want to be that stereotype. So that's one of the reasons why when I was deciding to have an abortion with my second son, I decided not to, because I always wanted more than one child, because I grew up as the only child. So I always wanted more than one child, but I wanted one husband, one baby daddy. I didn't want to have 2 or 3 and 4 baby daddies. So one of the reasons why I stuck in there, because I wanted to have the family. I wanted to stay with my children's father. I want us to raise them together. All the traditional stuff, you know? And girl, if something is not making you happy, leave it. If that's anything. If it's not making you happy, leave it. Your mental come first. If you don't have that, it's not much else you can do. You have to protect your mental. So I'm glad he didn't do that when he did the day that I was leaving, get on his knees and cry and beg for me to stay, because I probably would have stayed. I would have probably wound up leaving years later, but I probably would have stayed because I wanted that family so bad, you know? But I stand my ground, And I left. I left. And when I left, I remember, and not that same day, this was a week later when my family came and got me. They couldn't get a big truck. Something was happening, so they got like a van. So I couldn't pack everything in there. That's when I lost the teddy bear that Hamo gave me when I was 13 years old, y'all. If y'all know, y'all know. If y'all watch my vlogs, y'all know what I'm talking about. I left it there. I left it in Virginia. I left it at my friend's Kelly's house. I left her so much stuff. I left her furniture. I left so many different things. And I mean things like history things. Like I left a lot of things. But when I was driving home back to New York, I remember being in the back because it was like a 3-row van. And I remember just sitting there and tears is coming down my eyes. And I was happy to be going back home, for one. And I was just a little disappointed in myself for making the decisions that I made. And I was overwhelmed. Oh, that was like a hard time in my life. And don't forget, I was pregnant. And I didn't even understand postpartum. I didn't even understand my hormones at that time. I was only 22 years old. I was 22 when I was leaving Virginia, pregnant and with a 1.5, almost 2-year-old. Came back here. I had my son. I had C-sections with all 3 of my children. If y'all would like to know, like, details about anything that I have said in this whole series, part 1, part 2, and now part 3, please comment down below, and I will do my best to answer each and every one of y'all. But like I keep saying, that part of my life was like a teacher for me, and it was also devastating for me. I went through a lot with my body, my hormones, my mental. I learned that I was a strong, strong, strong woman. I learned that this world, the people in this world can be cruel. I learned that people in this world can be devious. I tell y'all this, I trust no one. To this day, I trust no one. Hamo and I have conversations about that. He doesn't like that I say it. And I do trust him. But do I trust everything 100%? No. I don't trust no one 100%. Because people switch up. And just for me to protect myself, I just don't give that 100% trust. I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, but I just know that's how I learned to protect myself. That's how I learned to protect myself. And when I say I don't trust nobody 100%, that don't mean I'm not open to meeting new people. That don't mean I'm paranoid when I do meet these new people. No, I'm not. I love meeting new people. But I definitely have a guard up. I'm always gonna have a guard up. I think I'm gonna die having a guard up. fast forward, I moved back to New York City. I had to start all over because I left most big things in Virginia. I didn't have the support that I had being married to the children's father. So I really had to start all over. Like when I moved out my mom's house and moved back at 18 and I was all excited, it wasn't the same excitement. I had these responsibilities. I had 2 children I had to care for. And I still had to care for myself. So I believe 22 to 25, I was figuring it out. I was figuring it out, how to be a good mother, a decent mother, how to be good to myself, how to keep food on my table, because I was living in poverty. I didn't have it. Thank God I had a caring mother. Thank God I had caring friends and family, because I always had support. I always had someone I could lean on. Although some of them times I didn't. I stuck it out. That brings me to share this story, and this is going to be the last story for part 3. But this leads me to share the story when I had my first son. And my mom's there. My mom's there 98% of all the important things in my life. She was there. When I say 98, because I don't think, I don't know if she was there for everything, but she was there. She was there. I could never really say when she wasn't. I had my first son. I remember having my first son, and no, his dad wasn't there when I gave birth to him. But I remember having my first son, and my mom, my stepdad, and myself going home with this newborn, chocolate, handsome baby. He was so chocolate and handsome. This boy is so handsome to this day. So fine. Make me sick. He's so fine. I remember us bringing, me and my stepdad, my mom bringing my son home, my first son home. And I remember us coming in from the hospital, us going in the house, and I'm vividly like seeing it as I'm telling my sexy crew. I think they stayed 10 minutes. My mother and my stepdad, I feel like they stayed 10 minutes, if that. They came out, we came in the house. I think I just washed up. We took his stuff off, the baby. We took my son's stuff off. My mom, and they wasn't even there for half an hour. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I say, my mama taught me tough love, she definitely taught me tough love. My mom is not a mushy person. I was told I love you. Like, she told me I love you. I got hugs and kisses, but she really not as mushy and affectionate that I might be, because I feel like I'm a little more affectionate and mushy than she is. She's not mushy at all, but I feel like I'm a little more affectionate and a lot more mushy than she is. But her and my stepdad was out. She looked at me, and again, I'm looking at the picture, y'all. She looked at me, she looked at my son. She's like, all right, baby, I'll see you later. Call me if you need me. And I'm looking at her, y'all. And I shared this with her as an adult now, recently as an adult. But at the moment, I'm looking at her and I'm looking at my stepdad, and I'm like, they really gonna leave me with this baby? Your ass laid there and made this baby. Now you asking, are they gonna stay there with you? Whether they help you make this baby? Y'all, I'm looking at my mother going out the door, and I had from my room to the front door, it was like a straight shot. My room, you could see whoever's coming in and out of the door. So I'm standing at my bedroom and I'm holding my son and I'm looking like, you really gonna leave me? I don't know what to do with this baby. I'm 20 years old. What I'm doing with this baby? And she left. And I remember looking out my window and watching them, and tears is coming out my eyes, y'all. And she didn't know this until like later on in my life. But tears is coming out my eyes, and I'm holding my son, and I'm looking out the window at my mom, and I'm looking at my son, and I'm like, shit just got real. Shit just got real. I got a whole human being to take care of. And I'm over here by myself because the baby daddy wasn't there at the time. Like, he was off being a whore. He wasn't there. And yeah, I still moved to Virginia with him after that. I know, right? Anyway, I did it. I did it. I did it. I took care of this little baby. I probably didn't get no sleep for like the first 3 weeks because I was watching him breathe and shit, but I did it. I did it. Like, when you have babies, it is so real. Like, you really gotta watch them. You gotta really make sure they're good. And I learned all of that on my own. I learned all that on my own. And with that being said, I think my son was about 3-4 months, maybe. And my mom took him every weekend. Every weekend. My mom and my stepdad took my son when he was 4 months. I think she was basically trying to see how would I move as a parent and what I would do as a parent before she just stepped in. It's like, I'm not taking care of your child. You want to take care of your child. I help you, but you want to take care of your child. I think she wanted to see what type of mother I would be before she just stepped in and helped, because she was a big part of their life. She still is a big part of their life. They love their grandmother. Like I said, she took my son, and when I had my second son, every weekend, unless they was out off traveling somewhere, every weekend they would come and take my son. So I had the weekends free to still be young, to still work on my life and see what I need to do. And that's how I went back to school, and yeah. But we're gonna get into that part in part 4, because I already talked to y'all for 45 minutes. I'm trying not to make the series too long. That's why I'm breaking it up into different parts. But I'm enjoying talking to my sexy crew. I noticed that y'all enjoying this type of content as well. And that is much appreciated, sexy crew. I actually love my sexy crew. I love the vibes that I feel from y'all. Like, sometimes I be in my feelings. I be in my mood. And y'all comment below and help me feel better. Like, I have got that so many times doing this here on YouTube. Like, y'all definitely help a girl out, and I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all already know the vibes. But if y'all haven't hit that red button down below, make sure you hit that red button and you subscribe. And that notification bell down below will let you know when I upload to YouTube. So make sure y'all hit that notification bell and give your girl a big thumbs up. And your girl is out. I'll see y'all in part 4. Peace.